It has felt like a while, but we are finally back for the GP4 Offline Championship 2017 season. We're here for the 6th round at Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix, the 12th Monaco Grand Prix in the OC calendar, and it should be noted for this race that we'll be using the 1993 version of the track due to the pit lane entrance glitch, which has happened pretty much since the start of the OC has happened, to be honest. But we'll be using the old Monaco layout, so that means the old pit lane, old Rascasse, old swimming pool chicane, so it's going to be a bit different than what it was in qualifying, but that should be very interesting to see how it goes. Previous winners here have included Florian Volker, Will Nella, Evan Byrne, Waze Kuba, Kellen Bryce, Yuri Master, Joseph Willows. So we've had a few winners here, so it's very interesting to see how this goes, but particularly, as I said, we're using this old layout which we've not seen before in the OC. We're obviously so used to it being quite chaotic. Well, it always is chaotic here at Monaco, it always is, and I don't see it changing, even though we're on an older layout which is meant to make for less chaotic racing, I guess you could say. The tyres we'll be using for this race will be the hard tyres, and the driver of the day from Spain was Joel Hutter, no surprise, for a very impressive performance, finishing P5, including passing Jim McKenzie on the last lap. So now we're going to take a look at the starting grid for the Monaco Grand Prix. And on pole position, once again, it is Will Nella, with Joseph Willows alongside him in second position. Will Nella yet to win so far from pole this season. Florian Volker in third position, Franco Lopez in P4 for Ferrari and Force India. Good qualifying by Lopez as well. On the third row of the grid we have Jay McKenzie for Mercedes and Rick Yan for Force India. On the fourth row of the grid we have Roland Moitian and Evan Byrne, another impressive qualifying performance by the Irishman for Renault. On the fifth row of the grid we have Amar Carr, not the best qualifying from him considering his win last time out, and Julius Anderson for Williams in 10th. Sixth row of the grid, Oliver Glazebrook, 11th, which is his favourite position it seems, because he's finished there twice this season and not yet scored any points. Nicholas Gal 12th, Paolino Tomaselli in 13th, Michael Moccio in 14th, a good qualifying by Tomaselli as well, I have to say. 15th place, Joel Hutter for Haas. 16th place is Thierry Tiernan for Renault. 17th position is Nicolas Pascali, and George Roque had qualified 30th but had a 5-place grid penalty for the incident with Nicolas Gal last time out, so that's why he's lower down than before. Felix Sontag 19th, Franco Gamba in 20th for Sauber and Toro Rosso, and on the final row of the grid we have Roberto Gamba from McLaren and Etienne Jones for Manor. So there we are, the grid for Monaco. And now we're going to be taking a look at the weather. As you can see, it will be a dry race, so there's a chance it won't be as chaotic because there's not going to be any rain, but you never know what could happen here in Monaco. As we're now going to head to the starting grid, you can see we've got the old light system as well, which is very unusual, so it's going to be a weird start. So as we're going to see the lights on, there's the red light, the traffic light system, we have a red light, and now we're green. We're underway for the Monaco Grand Prix, and Nella has made the best start, it looks like, at the head towards the first corner, and he does stick ahead of Willows, so that's good from him, as all the cars filter through. Of course, so used to there being the current pit exit going round the first corner there, but it's not, as we're on 1993. Nella leads, Willows, Volker, Lopez, Yan, McKenzie, Moyton, Byrne, Anderson and Carr. So Carr's dropped a place from the start, that's not good for him. As we look at the rest of the order, and there's a car with damage, I think that's a Toro Rosso, and Roque has got damage as well. He's missing a bit of his front wing. Let's see what happened coming towards the first corner. So Roque was running in 18th, and as they all... Oh dear, Roque's he's pretty much just gone into the back of him really. They've slowed down to a crawl due to all this Monaco traffic towards the first corner. Unfortunately for Roque, he's once again gone into someone on the first lap. He's not had a very good season at all, has Roque, but Nella's already creating a gap to the two Ferraris behind him. As we look through the rest of the order, coming in towards the first of many chicanes here at Monaco. So Gamba in 18th, there's Jones, there's Moccio who's being overtaken, there's Roberto Gamba who's currently in 21st position. They head towards the chicane. Gamba finally makes it past the Toro Rosso of Moccio, so that's good for him. Roque's there just coming behind. So Nella, look at the gap, he's already got, I reckon he's already got about a second gap as they come towards through Rascasse and through the final couple of corners for the first time for 78 laps. So Nella setting the fastest lap, of course. Willows in second, Volker in third, and they've already created a gap to the two Force Indias in fourth and fifth positions. You can see it looks like Yano's already on the back of Lopez. Makes me think actually as well if Lopez is on heavy fuel or not. So it looks like he probably is, because he's holding up these guys quite a bit, because Jan's all over his chuff, and so is the Williams behind. As we see Roque obviously in the pit. You can see the gap's already about 1.3. And we've already got a problem. Oliver Glazebrook. Oh, what a disastrous season he is having so far. And unfortunately, he's got an oil leak, and yet there goes the engine. And well, you could, and there is the fire in the back. Cue the fire emojis and the fire. As Glazebrook unfortunately is out of the race. He's had a horrendous season, has Oliver Glazebrook, and it's not getting any better as he's coming through the tunnel with smoke bellowing out of the back, flames coming out of the top of the engine as he heads towards the chicane. As Glazebrook comes through, and and he's clipped the wall right in front of cars there, and he's taken out his teammate as well. Roberto Gamba is out, and the manor of Etienne Jones is out as well. Oh, that was the worst possible time for Glazebrook to kind of stop there at that corner, the worst possible place. And unfortunately, he's taken his teammate out, and he's taken Jones out as well. Not McLaren want to get out of there ASAP. You can see from Roberto Gamba's point of view the smoke coming through. You could barely see anything coming out of the tunnel. He was behind Jones, and then unfortunately just had nowhere to go. Jones went to the back of Glazebrook, and Gamba just couldn't see, and Jones unfortunately very unlucky to be caught out there. We're looking on lap 17, so not really much has happened in this race. Nella's still leading very comfortably at the moment. He's got the pace over the two Ferraris, so it's clearly going to be strategy that is going to win Ferrari the race, if they win it, of course. He is now turning in 15th position. He's getting a little bit out of shape there behind Pascali in the manor. So you can see, nearly goes into the wall there. You can see a little bit of a twitch on the steering wheel, but he gets away with it. Here is, I think this is Will Nella. I believe this is Will Nella. Yeah, he's on the back of Mocho. He's lapping him coming towards Raskas. This is very narrow. I don't see this going very well as they come through, and Nella does manage to get around the outside of Mocho. I was really thinking there would be an accident there, but he's already lapping the drivers, and we're only on lap 21, as Nella actually is going to be pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be interesting to see as well when Nella comes out on the track. He'll come out, I think, behind the two Ferraris, because I think he's got the gap to them, but he's not going to get out in front of them. But crucially, I think I wonder what the two Force Indias are doing, because Lopez was already holding up Jan at the start, and I don't imagine it's changed, because we've not really seen any overtakes. I mean, that from Nella was probably one of the few overtakes we've seen this race. But look at that, 47 seconds. Well, so Nella's going to come out comfortably in third position, and Mackenzie's out. And speaking of Mercedes, Mackenzie is out, and he's pulled out just coming out of the tunnel, and he has got a transmission failure, and he was on the back of the two Force India, so he's been stuck here for the first 21 laps. So clearly it's too much for his engine to take, as we look at him coming through the tunnel here, and there it goes, coming right there through the tunnel. So he is out of this race. So there goes Moitin, there goes Byrne, there goes Anderson, there goes Carr, and Joel Hutter now up into the points for Haas as well. Gal's still down there in 11th position now, as we're looking at Nella, who is onto this big gaggle of cars right at the back of the field. This is Roke that he's got in front of him, and is he going to lap him here? Probably not the best idea, because he's about to come into the pits. Does he go around the outside of Roke? No, he thinks better of it. And Mocho has gone into the side of him there, and I think he's lost his front wing, has Mocho. I don't think Nella's actually got any damage. Well, I think he might have had some damage to his side pod, but apart from that, I think he may have gotten away with it then, and that really could have cost him the chance of victory there, had that gone wrong. But Mocho, his disastrous race just keeps going on, so he pits once again. So it'll be fresher tyres with the new front wing, but just not ideal, not what he wanted. So you can see, so Nella did try and lap Roke around Raskas, but he thought, no, I've got to go into the pits. But then Mocho came there, and yeah, he hits the side pod of Nella, but fortunately, well, you don't need to repair that, so we'll see if that affects Nella or not, as Rick Yan is now coming into the pits for Force India. He's been stuck behind Lopez since the start of this race, and he is going to get stuck behind him again, because by the time he catches up, because Lopez is going to be crawling around on those tyres, well, depending when he pits anyway. So he comes out in 60. So there's Joseph Willis at the moment leading, as Florian Volker, his teammate, has come in for a pit stop. So let's see how much fuel they put in. So it looks like it's going to be a 2-stop for Ferrari, that is for sure, as he comes out of the pits, and he's going to come out, well, he's going to come out in P3, so he's going to come out in clear air. So we'll see if he can jump Willows after the stops. Into the pits comes now Turner, and Gallagher's coming, but he has to wait for now Turner to go by. And of course this is the old pits, because normally the pits would be where the cars are going at the moment. They're so swapping sides. as Willows is lapping Gal as well, who's been stuck in the mid-pack thanks to a bad qualifying. So it's really going to shake up the championship standings at the moment with the way things are going, as Willows now does come in for his first stop of the race. So he'll come out obviously behind Will Nella, and the question is, will he come out ahead of Florian Volker? So it's a quick stop actually, 5.6 seconds. He's behind Nella. So where is Volker? I don't know where he is on the circuit. He's not come around the final corner yet, and he's certainly not come across the line. So I think Willows is going to stay ahead. He's going to come up behind traffic. So at the moment Nella's got a 7-second lead over Willows, which has come down a bit, but I think it's because they've had to deal with traffic. And here is Willows, who's the gap to Volker is about 3 seconds, so he has come out ahead. But traffic is going to be a deciding factor as well, because obviously it's not easy to overtake here, let alone it looks very, that's sketchy. But Willows does lap now turn, and there are it's so sketchy coming through that chicane as well. It always is if you're trying to pass or lap someone. But now Tiernan was lapped there by Willows, and Willows stays in the race, fortunately. As see if he can catch up to the back of Nella. I don't know if he is going to be able to right now, because unfortunately Nella seems to have the pace over the two Ferraris. He seems to have the pace in general. As we look at the lap cars coming through the final corner, there's Willows who's behind him. Oh, Joel Hutter's out, and Hutter's pulled off, and he has got a car failure as well coming towards turn 1, and he is pulled off, and that's his race over after what was such a great race in Spain, getting driver of the day and finishing in the top 5, his first top 5 in the OC. And unfortunately from this race it's back to reality, I guess. He's going to be getting absolutely nothing. Haas's reliability has not been fantastic this season, and it's unfortunately not getting much better. He was behind the Renault of Evan Byrne, and you can see there it goes, just coming into the first corner. Unfortunately he parks it at a safe place. Imagine if that happened coming into the chicane out of the tunnel. That would have been a nightmare. Into the pits comes Pascali for Manor. So as he comes in to his pit box, it looks so narrow. It's so narrow, those pits. I mean, the pits generally are narrow in general, but the new ones just seem less narrow than these ones. Although I suppose these cars are wider, so it probably makes sense compared to the 1993 cars. Anyway, so Pascali comes out in P15, comes up behind, I think that was the Sauber of Felix Sontag. And Tomaselli is coming to the pits as well. Lopez still going on track, and I'm pretty sure he's not made a stop yet, and he's holding up car. Roke there behind now Turner, and Volker has just lapped Evan Byrne. Willows has just lapped the car in 10th place there, and there's car right behind Lopez, and so it was Gal that he lapped there. So now the gap is now up to 8 seconds, and I think with the Ferraris in traffic it's going to extend as Franco Gamba comes into the pits for Toro Rosso. So let's see where he comes out onto the track. He's had a decent season so far, Franco Gamba. It's gone better for him in the last season and co, because it's his time at Toro Rosso has been turbulent at times, to say the least. That is for sure. So as he comes out of the pits, 7.5 second stop, not particularly quick, but as we look at Carr, who has taken his car into the pits. And that was that sort of 7.4. So he's he is pitted to obviously jump Franco Lopez, who of course is, I believe he's still going on despite having absolutely terrible tyres. I mean, how he's still going around on those tyres? He must be absolutely tiptoeing around every single corner, because they are utterly dreadful, the state that the tyres are in at the moment. As we look at Willows in second place, and Anderson is out. There's damage to the Red Bull there as well, but Anderson is out. As Volker got damage, I couldn't quite tell there, but Julius Anderson, from a promising position, is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. I think that's the first accident we have seen in this race, or the first mistake leading to an accident. So let's see what happens. So he's running in 8th position, and that car's behind him, and he just goes a little bit wide into the wall, and so I don't know I know the Red Bull got damaged. That was Nicolas Gau. I don't know if Volker got damaged as well. I need to have a look at that again. So you can see it just goes a bit too wide there into the wall. And let's see what happens when Volker goes by. I don't know if he got damaged or not. Let's have a look carefully. I think he did, I'm pretty sure. If he has, we'll see it from his on board. And yes, he has got damage. So that has effectively handed second place to Willows. Well, he had it already, but there's pretty much no competition for it now. And lucky for Gal, he so nearly made it through there. And unfortunately that wheel just at the end unfortunately ruined him. So that's not good for Anderson. That's his race done and dusted. So that's going to spice up the order a bit. Well, it's going to spice up the order a bit. Volker's still going to be in third, as he's got that in the bag pretty much. Willers will have second. That's in the bag. Evan Berner's going to gain a position from this, as he will pass Gal. So that's good news for him. Lopez actually has finally come into the pits as well. Franco Lopez has finally pitted for Force India. He's been going for 47 laps on those tyres, and he's finally come into the pits. And was it all worth it? Probably not. Well, if he doesn't come out ahead of Rick Jan, then probably not. Although Jan probably will have to make another stop anyway. So as Volker comes in, changes his front wing, puts a new set of tyres on, and he does go to the end, I think. If my calculations are correct, 30... Yeah, he will go to the end. So it's good of him, as Lopez has come out of the pits in front of Carr and in front of Jan, who actually is going to be pitting. So I mean, it's worked out for Lopez, to be fair. Holding up all these cars that he has done for the first 47 laps, it has actually worked. So he pretty much has P4 in the bag, because you really can't overtake here. So unless someone makes a mistake or you have a car failure. So as I said, I think he's pretty much got it in the bag. He really does. As we look at the rest of the order, so there's Moichin in 7th, Byrne in 8th, now Turner in 9th, Roke in 10th. So Roke, despite running into Mocho in the first lap, it's working out for him at the moment. Mocho is just behind him though in 11th. As Byrne makes a little mistake there. That was... Oof. Byrne, he is really... seems to be struggling with the car at the moment. And that could have ended his race, but fortunately he's kept it away from the walls. And that was so close. How he's not hit it into that wall there, I'm not sure. And then coming through here, you can see going over the curbs, coming through the sign kind of blocks how close he was to the wall there, but has a bit of a lock up there as well. So he's struggling a bit, Evan Byrne. Just needs to keep it on the road, keep it away from the walls. As we look at the race leader, Will Nella, he's got a comfortable lead over... Well, just a second. And Miklas Gau is out of the race. He has got a car failure, and that is his race done on lap 49. So Gal, who obviously got caught up in that incident with Julius Anderson, and unfortunately he's going to get nothing from this race, not been his season either. So he was running down his 16th position, so he was running quite far down the order. He was actually going to go to the end of this race as well. So there was still a vague chance he could have got something, but now with this failure, he's going to get precisely nothing. So Nella comes into the pits, I imagine, for his final stop. I don't imagine the 3-stop would do him very good. And the answer is, if I could just see the fuel, it is... yep, that's enough fuel for him to go to the end. So Will Nella will be going to the end on this strategy. And so far, it's looking pretty good for him, we have to say. As he comes up the pits, I don't know if he'll still come out the lead or not, but I don't think it will matter, because Willows will have to pit anyway. And Nella does come out the lead, does he? Yep, he still comes out, and he's actually already lapped Lopez, and there is actually Willows who's lapping him at the moment. So yeah, Nella is a pit stop ahead now of Joseph Willows, so it's looking pretty good for Nella at the moment. I have to say, as Jan tries to make his way past Carr there in the battle for P4, this has been raging since the first lap, and we nearly saw an overtake on track, but we've got a big battle here for P4. We have got Lopez, we have got Carr, we have got Jan, we have got Moitian. That battle is pretty much going to rage on until the end. Willows is going to be pitting this lap as well, and he'll come out ahead of Volker. You can see the gap is over 30 seconds, so that is clearly going to be enough for him to stay ahead. So Nella has really got it ahead of the Fries at the moment. We've still got over 20 laps to go, so anything could still happen, but it's looking pretty good for Will Nella at the moment. I was about to say it was looking pretty good for Willows for P2, and it's pretty good for him in the championship as well. So as he comes around the swimming pool chicane, and obviously that's so unusual seeing this track. Obviously we're so used to there being a runoff there, but as we come through, as we've got a yellow flag out on track, and it's Armor Car is out, and it seems that Lopez holding up cars, it's working for him, because all the other cars are breaking down, and Carr, who's been stuck behind him for quite a few laps now, his car is now broken. So these are some interesting tactics from Force Senior, but they're clearly working, because they're breaking the cars who can't overtake them, and this time it has broken Carr, and yeah, there we go. So that's good news for Lopez. That means another car bites the dust, and I'll have to hope that he keeps on doing that. Well, as long as he doesn't do it to his teammate, though, that would be a bit embarrassing. It would be, well, it would kind of be counterproductive, I think. But as we're looking at Willows coming for his final stop, and he'll come out in a comfortable P2 position. So there's now Turner right now in 8th, Mocho 9th. I think that was Sontag in 10th, I believe. Roke down to 15th. I think he's made a stop because he was behind now Turner. So he is made. So he's going to be going to the end, I would think. Rick Yan actually is going to be pitting for the final time. He is 2.3 seconds off Lopez. So Lopez is going to the end. So it's going to be kind of pointless, really. But you never know what could happen. Lopez could still hit the wall, or he could have a car failure, or have a problem with a lap car. You just never know. We've still got 25 laps to go as Lopez comes through the swimming pool chicane under the Foster's sign, coming through, heading towards Raskas. They'll of course be going to the pits, which he does right now. Yeah, I mean the other pit lane, obviously, it can be quite glitchy, and there could be several incidents if you're trying to go into the pits. The driver seemingly struggling to get into the pits, which is quite strange, but anyway, as Jan pits, changes all 4 tyres, and he will of course go to the end. There's another car I think that's going to be pitting this lap by the looks of it. So he drops behind Evan Byrne. I think he'll come out ahead of now Turner though, and yes he does. That's important for him because he's in clear air now. Moichin of course is pitting for the end. Actually Byrne is pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. So he's the next driver to go into the pits. Felix Sontag was the one that's also coming to the pits on that lap, so it was the Sauber mechanics as well. As we look at Byrne coming through the Lowe's hairpin, going through past some of the apartments here in Monaco. Very expensive, of course. So as we look at Byrne coming through the tunnel for the 53rd time, I would say, because of course he is a lap down behind the rest of the field, because at the moment the top 3 have lapped everyone else, and although I wouldn't be surprised if Nella laps Volker at this point. I know he's only 40 seconds behind, but with the pace of the Mercedes you never know. But you see, so looking at the rest of the top 10 there, so Pascal's in 11th, Tomaselli, there's Roke, there's Sontag. So at the moment we've got 14 cars, which at the moment for Monaco is pretty respectable, you'd have to say, as Byrne now comes into the pits for his final stop. So he'll come up behind Jans. Where will he come out in the order? He'll come out still in the top 10. It's been a pretty solid race for Byrne. He's kept on the track. There was obviously that time where he nearly made the mistake coming through the swimming pool chicane, nearly ended it, but fortunately he didn't, so he's kept on the circuit. And he will finish. So Fred Gamma's has gone past him into 9th position. Evan Byrne will come out in P10. So it looks like it's going to be a points finish for Byrne. Where it will be, we don't know. Willow's right now running on his own in 2nd place, just taking a nice drive around the streets of Monaco. Doesn't really have to push, well, there's no point really, because he's not going to catch up to Nella, and Volker ain't going to catch up to him, although the gap actually is only 14 seconds. But I don't see how Volker's going to pass, so at the moment it's looking pretty good for Nella, and to get his first victory of the season, of course. He's taken pole position in half the races this season, 2 pole positions and no victories, and this looks like the time where he is finally going to take his first win of the season. But as I said, we've still got plenty of laps to go. We've still got over 20 laps to go, and you never know what could happen. But as I said, not the most thrilling race around Monaco due to this layout, but had to do what we had to do to get this track in working order. The gap is coming down a little bit to Willows, down to 26.9, but I don't think that's really going to matter at all. And there's another car failure there, and that is now Tiranen once again from a promising position. His car has broken down on him again, as Mocho's in the pits as well this lap, and yep, it is blown up spectacularly coming onto the pit straight there, as we see all these cars going through. But that's not good news for now Tiranen. So he was running in 7th, so he was still pitting once more anyway. So as we look at him coming through, and there it was, the engine goes, heading towards the swimming pool chicane right in front of the Toro Rosso of Michael Mocho there, who's got a face full of smoke. And I think it was, I don't know if it was just simply the engine, but he's got a face full of smoke. And oh, there's the fire. Cue the emojis. As he came through the final corner, the Frankie Gamble there was severely held up by now turning there. Unfortunately, that was the worst place for him technically to stop, but he's fortunately out of the way, so his car can get pushed off the circuit. So that's his race over on lap 56 of this race. So there we go, another one bites the dust here in Monaco. So that's 13 cars, as Mocho has crucially just come out ahead, I think, of George Roque there. That's important, because those two have been in the battle the whole race. Mocho had been behind Roque ever since the collision they had on the first lap, but Mocho has crucially jumped Roque there, so that's important for him in their battle in this race. As we're looking at the Williams of Roland Moitin, who is right now running in P5, right behind the Force India of Lopez. He can't get past, and he's going to be pitting this lap, as well as Tomaselli has come in for his final stop of the race, as well, as you can see on the graphics below. So there's now just 13 cars left, which is about average of how many cars finish here in Monaco. As he's about to come into pits, he's all over the back of Lopez, but there's just no point in passing. You just can't pass it. There's just not really any places to overtake. I mean, coming into the chicane after the tunnel, that's generally one of the few places they can overtake, but it's kind of more narrow on this layout of the circuit, so it's harder to overtake than before. The Volker, the gap to Willows is 15, but Volker, I don't think it's going to catch to Willows. 28 seconds the gap was Nella to Willows. So Roland Moitin comes in, changes his tyres, and comes out of the pits. 9 seconds, I think that is. That was quite a slow stop, I think, for the Williams crew. Usually the pit stops are around, well, average is about, I'd say, 6 seconds, but that was quite slow for Williams. Anywho, here is Will Nella coming through the final corner. He's got a very, very comfortable lead right now. As we're looking at Roque, who's all over the back of Mocho, and there's not enough room for Roque to fit through there, so he has to stay behind him. But Roque trying desperately to get past the Toro Rosso of Mocho. This is the battle for the final points position of P10. And as Roque, is he going to go past Mocho here? Oh yes, he is. And so Roque takes P10, and Sontag launches it down the inside as well, and takes the 11th position. So that was pretty easy. So we've actually seen some overtakes on the track. Unbelievable. And Mocho's dropped actually quite a bit behind Sontag. I wonder if he's got a problem, because that was very easy. It seemed like the cars were just being lapped there, so I think Mocho might have a problem here, because yeah, look at Nella, he's closing up very quickly indeed. So I think Mocho's got a technical problem here, because look at how much he's fallen off Sontag and Roque. And yes, he has. You can see he has got an issue. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not good for Mocho in the running for points. Having jumped George Roque, done all the hard work, and unfortunately that has all come apart for him. So he'll be pretty annoyed, well, with his car, of course, not with himself, the fact that it's let him down. So he's going to have to pit one more time. As we look at Willows coming through the tunnel, got a very comfortable gap to Volker behind him. So there's Roque in 10th, and Mocho comes in. So it looks like a transmission problem for Mocho, but fortunately he can come into the pits and get it repaired, although he's not going to get any points from this race unless he has a miracle, or unless car failures happen. So he's now pretty much in last position, is Michael Mocho. He's got the Sauber of Tomaselli in front of him, as we just saw Tomaselli going through the first corner. Now here is Evan Byrne in the Renault at the moment. He's running in, I believe it is 8th position. So he's had a decent race. Byrne. Frankie Gamble actually is in 7th, Moitin 6th. As we look at the Ferrari coming through there, and as and Lopez has gone wide, and Lopez is in the wall, and Lopez has just thrown away a top 4 finish. Oh no! And Jan has just, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And Lopez has just thrown away what was to be a certain top 5 finish for Force India there. Oh no, and he was running in a solid P4. No one was going to overtake him. That was because Willows was lapping the Sauber in front of him, and then Lopez tried to do the same, but went way too wide, and coming through the final corner there, and he almost took out Mocho, and Mocho would have just lost his mind if that happened. And oof, that was unbelievably close. And this was Rick Yan, unfortunately, just coming through there. The last thing he was expecting was a wheel to be literally put directly on the racing line. And the pit crew are not ready for him either. Oh dear, and that's just a double whammy, or that's a triple whammy for Force India there. So Franco Gamba is now going to move up into P5 for Toro Rosso. It's going to be another great result for him. So he's the one who's really profited from all of this. And will he come out ahead of Evan Byrne? No, he doesn't actually. So Byrne's up to P6. So Byrne and Franco Gamba are the ones who've really benefited from this. So Jan is going to be P7. He's way ahead of Pascali and Roque in that battle for P8. As we're now, of course, onto the final lap of the race, and Will Nella is your race leader. It's been a very, very comfortable race for Will Nella. He's led it from the start. He's had the pace over the two Ferraris. They were never really on his level. And Will Nella, who of course has won here in Monaco last year, he's won here twice, and now he's going to win here for a third time. And so he's going to be the driver who's won the most here in Monaco. As he comes towards the chicane out of the tunnel, the gap is 42 seconds to Willows. That is, wow, that is a lot. Of course, top three have lapped the rest of the field as well, showing their pure domination. If you look at the rest of the order, so Jan, of course, is 7th, Pascali 8th, Roque 9th, and Sontag completing the points in 10th at the moment. But Winner is coming through Raskas for the 78th and the final time. He's taken pole position twice this season, and he's not won, taking it a third time here in Monaco, and this time it's third time lucky, as Will Nella is going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Congratulations, he really has deserved that. He's wanted that so badly, and he's got it. And now here comes Evan Byrne, who's going to take 6th place. He'll be pretty happy with that, benefiting from all the failures and shortcomings around him. Lopez in P7 there. Jan, I should say, in P7 there. Pascali, who's going to take 8th place. A very impressive performance by him in the manner, who's going to hold off the Haas of George Roque here, unless Roque can do an absolute dive bomb into Raskas, which I don't think is going to happen, because if he tries that, they're going to take each other out, and he doesn't. So Pascali is going to take 8th position. Roque will be in P9, and the Ferrari there of Willows will be in 2nd position as they come across the line. So Willows will take P2. Sontag will take the final points position in 10th. Tomaselli will be 11th, with the Toro Rosso of Mocho right behind him as they come across the line. And there we go. So Volker will take P3. Roland Moichin, he's the one who's also taken a good advantage of this. He'll take P4. He'll be pretty happy with that as well. Franco Gamba P5. Another good performance by the Toro Rosso driver. He's generally kept himself out of trouble. Not really seen much of him in this race. But nonetheless, he'll be pretty happy with P5 on the board. So there we go. That is the race over. So, as now we're going to take a look at the full race results, driver standings, and of course the constructor standings after a thrilling Monaco Grand Prix. Will Nella winning, of course, ahead of Joseph Willis in 2nd, Florian Volker 3rd, the only 3 drivers on the lead lap. Roland Moichin in 4th, a lap down. Franco Gamba a lap down in P5. Byrne, Jan, Pascali, Roque, and Sontag completing the top 10. They were all 2 laps down. Tomaselli 11th position, also 2 laps down. Will Nella setting the fastest lap of the race of 1:16.5. Michael Mocho 12th, of course, 2 laps down. And Franco Lopez, despite crashing coming through the final corner there, is still classified in the standings. Thierry now Tiernan, Armand Carr, Nicholas Gow, Julius Anderson, Joel Hutter, Jay McKenzie, Etienne Jones, Oliver Glazebrook, and Roberto Gamba, of course, for the drivers who did not finish this race. So now we'll take a look at the driver standings. So Willows, his gap is now 22 points to Will Nella, who's moved ahead into 2nd in the championship, with Volker in 3rd, Carr down to 4th, Rick Gann up into 5th ahead of Nicholas Gow, Lopez in 7th, McKenzie 8th. What a dreadful season he's having. Mocho 9th, Franco Gamba moves up to 10th ahead of now Tiernan in 11th. He could have had so many more points now Tiernan from where car failures. Moichin up to 12th, Byrne 13th, Hutter 14th, Roque 15th, Tomaselli 16th, Anderson 17th, Pascali 18th, Gamba 19th, Roberto Gamba that is, Felix Sontag 20th, Etienne Jones 21st, and Oliver Glazebrook so far the only driver yet to score any points this season in the OC. Now we'll take a look at the constructors standings. So Ferrari got the lead over Mercedes. It is 60 points at this moment in time. It's a pretty good gap. Mercedes, who have only just moved ahead of Red Bull, into 2nd, Force India 4th, Toro Rosso 5th, Renault in 6th, Williams moving above Haas into 7th, Sauber in 9th, Manor in 10th, McLaren in 11th position. So there we go. That was the Monaco Grand Prix. Not the best race. The next round, of course, will be the Canadian Grand Prix at Montreal. So, I mean, you can vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10, even though it's not going to be particularly high. But Next week, however, will not be the OC in Canada. It will be a special event, so stay tuned guys and you'll see what event it will be.